Hello, welcome to my channel. So it's been a while since I've done a good old first impressions foundation or wear test review kind of video. If you don't know, in these types of videos I like to film it in natural lighting if at all possible, and I always show up looking ratchet, so that just means it's going to be a good video, okay? If you are interested in hearing about the brand new Benefit Hello Happy face products, including the Flawless Brightening Foundation and the Velvet Powder Foundation, then just keep watching. Alright, so on June 25th, Benefit released two new complexion products to their Hello Happy line, the Flawless Brightening Foundation and the Velvet Powder Foundation. You can find these on the Benefit website, Ulta.com. I also saw it on HSN, or you can also go in stores and pick these up at Ulta. They have them out right now. Last year, Benefit released a Hello Happy foundation, which I really did enjoy, so I was excited to try these products out. So first, let's talk about the Hello Happy Flawless Brightening Foundation. It also comes in a mini for $15. I was hoping they would have that at my store, but they did not. They only had the full size, so I had to pick up the full size, but it is a beautiful glass bottle with that pink top that the first Hello Happy foundation had. Really cute packaging, and then of course you flip it over, you have a cute little smiley face. This has 1 ounce of product inside it, and it comes in 12 shades. Now the shades are weird. First of all, very bad shade range, not too many shades. Also, I got mine in the shade number 4. The fact that there's only 12 and I'm number 4, not very good. Here are the claims of the foundation. It's going to brighten your face, hydrate your face, flawless looking complexion, medium coverage liquid foundation with SPF 15 that feels lightweight, looks natural, and is virtually undetectable on the skin. It contains photochromatic pigments that instantly adapt to brighten skin in any lighting, flower acids to help boost radiance, and hyaluronic acid to attract moisture to the skin surface and help maintain hydration. So what this sounds like to me basically is that it's supposed to look really natural on the skin and be good for your skin, brighten it, hydrate it, everything I personally want with my dry skin. So my skin type is more normal to dry. Right now it's more normal, but in the winter it does get very dry. This claims to have 12-hour wear and a natural satin finish. This foundation is $30, which honestly for an ounce of foundation for $30, that is not too bad of a deal. Alright, so let's talk about the Hello Happy Velvet Powder Foundation. Same kind of packaging, really cute nude packaging, the typical kind of Benefit box. So you have the powder with a happy face on it, and then you have a brush, which is supposed to be for lighter coverage, and then a sponge for deeper coverage, but I will not be using that. It feels pretty cheap. It's a magnetic closure, very lightweight and a little bit more chunky. So this is 0.25 ounces of product for $30, so this costs just as much as the foundation. It also comes in 12 shades, just like the foundation. So this is supposed to be lightweight and buildable so that you can choose your coverage. It mattifies all day yet feels creamy soft with shea butter extracts. So this is supposed to have, again, 12-hour wear with a natural matte finish. I actually wanted to test this out on its own first so that we can see what it looked like. So I got mine, by the way, in the shade number 4. I love a good powder foundation. That's what I wear every day to work. So I'm going to test it out on my skin right now. I do have the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched face base that I put down about 5 or so minutes ago, so it has had time to sink in. I'm going to apply it with the Sigma Flat Kabuki F80 brush to see how much coverage we can get with this. So I'm just lightly patting in. I'm getting a lot of fallout. I'm just gonna press. So it's not really covering my acne. Let me move you in. So as you can see, it's not really covering my acne that well. It does look very smooth on the skin though. That actually looks super smooth on the skin. I don't notice it catching on to any dry patches, but this definitely is not a full coverage powder, but it is so smoothing. So if you're looking for a powder foundation that's going to give you full coverage, this is not going to do it. If you are looking for that, I would recommend looking into IT Cosmetics, but honestly, this as a veil of all over the skin, it's going to smooth my skin. It has a little bit of a glow to it. It looks super natural. I like this a lot. I think this looks really good on its own. Don't expect much coverage, but wow, I'm excited to see how that lays on top of foundation. So that was a fun little test. Alright, so I'm just going to take that off. Just wanted to see how the coverage of that was. So we are going to get into the foundation right now. Like I said, I have mine in the shade number 4, so really quickly I am going to show you some swatches. Okay, so here are some swatch comparisons for you. This one is the Benefit Hello Happy Brightness Foundation, and this is in 4. This is the Benefit Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation, which is the one that came out last year, in 3. So these are 2 very different undertones. This is the Dior Backstage Foundation in 2N. It Cosmetics CC Cream in Light. Makeup Forever Ultra HD Foundation in R330. This is probably the closest match. And then finally, the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear in the shade 430. Okay, so it is a pump, which is really awesome. Now, this is supposed to oxidize, so we will test that out as well. Consistency is kind of thick. As you can see, it's not super liquidy, and I'm going to be applying with my good old giant Real Technique sponge. That's just what works for me. That's my favorite way to apply foundation, honestly. I put about 2 pumps on my hand. Okay, so layer 1 on half of my face. I can still see my acne through, but there is a glow to it and my skin does look very natural. So let's see if this builds. Okay, so that covered pretty well. This definitely is not a full coverage foundation. I would say it does have light to medium coverage. So that one first layer that I did, it did look really pretty, but I could totally see my acne and redness coming through, but the finish of it was nice. So I think this is a good foundation where maybe doing 1.5 layers is what's going to look the best for a little bit of coverage and then also look natural still. Just so you know, this probably took about 4 pumps to get the most full coverage on my face, but I don't think that's completely necessary. I would say 2 to 3 pumps is probably good. I just went a little overboard. Ooh, it looks super pretty. It's not extremely smoothing, but the finish is so natural that it looks okay. So it definitely does oxidize about a shade or 2. So this is the one that's been sitting on my hand, and here's a swatch that I just put down. So just be aware of that if you are purchasing it in stores, that it will oxidize. I can tell on my face, it definitely did oxidize. So I'm gonna put concealer on and I will be right back. I'm not naked. I just took my sleeves off because it was really constricting me. All right, so I'm gonna do only half of my face with the blurring powder to see if it's any better than my regular powders. So I'm gonna use the Hourglass translucent setting veil on this side so I can see if that powder is going to make any difference. So now I'm gonna set this side with the Velvet powder. Normally I don't set my under eyes with powder foundation, but we will today. And let's see if it adds any extra coverage on my blemishes. It does add a little bit. I feel like this powder is maybe like a shade darker than the actual foundation. So I will say the combination of the foundation and the powder is a really nice combination because it did add just a bit of extra coverage. My texture over here from my acne is not completely smooth by any means, but it's not emphasizing anything either. Honestly, I feel like my skin looks really nice. I think I did go a little bit overboard with product. This foundation definitely, I think less is more. That's what's going to give you the prettiest finish. I put a little bit too much on, so it does look a little bit heavy. And with that powder foundation, it did add an extra element to this skin that this side it does not have. And I like both sides, so it just depends. So I'm going to quickly go off camera and do the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Alright, so I am back. My makeup is complete. So the foundation has been sitting on my face for about an hour now, and I did not realize how bad that foundation oxidized. When I took a step back and looked into the mirror, I looked kind of orange. Luckily, with all the other stuff on my face, the orangeness kind of went away. If you're wondering about anything else that I'm wearing, I will put it down in the description box. I just kind of threw on a bunch of random makeup that I've been wanting to play with, so no rhyme or reason for the products that I used. Overall, with all the makeup on top, I really feel like the makeup laid very well on top. I do feel like there's almost a film over my face that is very flattering. It is a very natural finish. I do think I applied a little bit too much. Less is more with this foundation. But yeah, my skin does look really natural and pretty, but if you're not careful, it can cake up a little bit. That I can tell. If you find that happy medium, it's definitely a nice foundation. Alright, so far, basically, my first check-in is letting you know the foundation looks good. I think the eye that was set with the translucent powder looks a little bit better, but that I'm not surprised by. Other than that, we're looking pretty good right now. So I will check in a few hours. Alrighty, so it is now about 6 o'clock, so I am here for my 3-hour check-in. I haven't even looked in the mirror. So right now, the smile lines are just starting to show. Honestly though, it's done a pretty good job because some foundations will kind of sink into those lines in 10 minutes. So all you have to do is rub it out. The blush is holding on really well. Everything looks really good. Honestly, it looks even a little bit better because my oils have started to come through. I can tell this is definitely a more hydrating foundation. It is agreeing with my skin very well. The texture over here is a little bit more emphasized as it starts to sink more into my skin, but I'm not really bothered by it. Yeah, overall, my skin has a really nice, healthy glow to it. So with 3 hours in, it's looking pretty good. I will check in a few hours. Hello, we are back under the lights because there is no more sunlight outside. It is time for the final check-in. It is 10 o'clock p.m. My goal was to do this wear test for 8 hours, but we're gonna do it for 7 because your girl has to work in the morning. But let's get into it. So, ignore my lashes falling off my eyes. These lashes are not good. But let me zoom you in. I will be honest, I did not do the most strenuous activities today, meaning I didn't leave my house today. So in normal circumstances, the makeup would probably look a little bit more worn, but let me tell you, I like this foundation. I think it looks really nice. What I'm most impressed by is my smile lines. I mean, they have sunken in, but it's been 7 hours, and this, like, I only rubbed it over once, and it's hardly in there, so wow. Number 2, with my oils mixing in, it really looks like my skin now. It's really settled into the skin. It's not sitting on top of the skin. My blush and highlight has held up pretty well. I did touch up my highlight because I was playing with the highlight, but you can see the blush very well. And another big telltale a lot is the nose. It always comes off of my nose or looks like it's sitting on top. Now, there is a little bit of fading in the area, but for the most part, my nose looks a lot better than it normally would. There is a little bit, I don't know if you can see, but a little bit of breaking up around the nose, but nothing crazy at all for it being 7 hours later. So I'm checking to see if there's a difference between the side with the velvet blur powder and just the translucent powder. The side where I pressed in the translucent powder under my eyes looks better, but that's what I expected. Honestly, I'm not noticing too much of a difference between the powder and the translucent powder. If anything, I honestly would argue the translucent side looks a little better, but I just think that's because there's less product. Less is more in makeup. So I think just the fact that I put on too much of the actual foundation and then put the powder on top is what really messed that up. But I will be honest, my side where I just put a little bit of translucent powder looks better. I think if I used less foundation and then I put this on top for a little bit more coverage, I would be much more happy with that. So overall, I am very impressed with these two products. The foundation I would not recommend for somebody with oily skin. This definitely is a moisturizing foundation. I think that had I had a longer day doing more stuff, I would be kind of oily right now. So if you are oily skin and you have tried this out, let me know what you think down below. But I can see somebody with oily skin struggling to keep this on their face. But for me, it has held up very well. I didn't do a single powder touch-up, which is amazing. So if you are a little bit more oily, I think if you do that powder touch-up, it will help. It's not the most long wearing foundation, but it's pretty decent. So this is definitely going to carry you through a work day with some touch-ups. Of course, the Velvet Powder Foundation, I really do like this as well. Even though I said I like the side with the translucent powder better, I think these two are going to be a good combination if you don't use too much of this like I did, because this is going to give you a little bit of extra coverage to compensate for using less product. I really like the finish of this on the skin. Benefit makes really good powder foundations. Like I said, I think it really smooths the skin and covers the pores and blurs the skin. So I do like this. It's not too heavy, and I definitely will continue using this as well. So I'm going to continue to play with these. I will comment below if there are any changes. Also, quick question for you guys. So I was thinking about doing a comparison video between this foundation and the Hello Happy Soft Blur foundation to see what the differences are, because I am curious. So if you would like to see that video, let me know. If I get enough comments I will definitely film that for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know down below if you are planning on trying this foundation out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys, have a good one.